Page 3, Praise to Shakyamuni Buddha. To the founder, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the one gone beyond, the third destroyer, the completely perfected, fully awakened, perfect in knowledge and in good conduct, Siddhartha, of the world, supreme guide of human beings to attain, teacher of gods and human beings, to you the completely and fully awakened one, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, subduer from the Shakya clan, I prostrate and make offerings in your refuge. To the founder, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the one gone beyond, the third destroyer, the completely perfected, fully awakened being, perfect in knowledge and in good conduct, Siddhartha, knower of the world, supreme guide of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings, to you the completely and fully awakened one, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subduer from the Shakya clan, I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. To the founder, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the one gone beyond, the third destroyer, the completely perfected, fully awakened being, perfect in knowledge and in good conduct, Siddhartha, knower of the world, supreme guide of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings, to you the completely and fully awakened one, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subduer from the Shakya clan, I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. When O supreme amongst humans you were born on this earth, you paced out 7 strides, then said, I am supreme in this world. To you who are wise then, I prostrate. With pure bodies fall supremely pure, wisdom ocean like a golden mountain, flame that blazes in the 3 worlds, winner of the best, Lord, to you I prostrate. With the supreme signs, face like smallness, color like gold, to you I prostrate. Dust free like dew, the 3 worlds are not. Incomparably wise one, to you I prostrate. The Saviour having great compassion, the Founder having all understanding, the field of merit with qualities like a vast ocean, to you, the one God in thusness, I prostrate. The purity that frees one from attachment, the virtue that frees one from the lower realms, the one path, the sublime reality, to the Dharma that pacifies, I prostrate. Those who are liberated and who also show the path to liberation, the holy field qualified with realizations, who are devoted to the moral precepts. To you, the sublime community attending virtue, I prostrate. Homage to the Supreme Buddha, homage to the Dharma refuge, homage to the great Sangha, to all 3 every devout homage, to all worthy of respect, bowing with bodies as many as all realms, atoms in all aspects, with supreme faith I pay homage. Do not commit any non-virtuous actions, perform only perfect virtuous actions, subdue your mind thoroughly. This is the teaching of the Buddha. A star, a visual aberration, the flame of a lamp, an illusion, a drop of dew or a bubble, a dream, a flash of lightning, a cloud, see conditioned things as such. Through these merits may sentient beings attain the rank of all seeing, subdue the faults and be delivered from samsara's ocean, perturbed by the waves of aging, sickness and death. To page 15 for the Heart of Perfection of Wisdom Sutra. I prostrate to the Arya Triple Gem. Thus did I hear at one time, Bhagavan was dwelling on massive altars mounted in Rajagriha, together with a great community of monks and a great community of bodhisattvas. At that time, the Bhagavan was absorbed in the concentration on the category phenomenon called the Path of Perfection. Also at that time, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Arya Avalokiteshvara looked upon the very practice of the profound spectrum of wisdom, and beheld those 5 aggregates also as empty of inherent nature. Then, through the power of Buddha, the Venerable Shariputra said this to the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Arya Avalokiteshvara: how should any son of the lineage stray who wishes to practice objectively the profound perfection of wisdom? He said that, and the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Arya Avalokiteshvara said this to the Venerable Shariputra: who should any son of the lineage or daughter of the lineage who wishes to practice the activity of the profound perfection of wisdom should look upon it like this, correctly and repeatedly beholding those 5 aggregates also as empty of inherent nature. Form is empty, emptiness is form, emptiness is not other than form. Form is also not other than emptiness. In the same way, feeling, discrimination, composition of factors, and consciousness are empty. Shariputra likewise called phenomena are emptiness. Without characteristics, unproduced, unceased, stainless, not without stain, not deficient, not fulfilled. Shariputra therefore in emptiness there is no form, no feeling, no discrimination, no compositional factors, no consciousness, no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no visual form, no sound, no odor, no taste, no object to touch, and no phenomenon. There is no eye element, and so on, up and including no mind element and no mental consciousness element. There is no difference, no extinction of difference, and so on, up to and including no aging and death, and no extinction of aging and death. Similarly, there is no suffering, origination, cessation, and path. There is no exalted wisdom, no attainment, and also no non-attainment. Shariputra, therefore, because there is no attainment, bodhisattvas rely on and dwell in the perfection of wisdom, the mind without obscuration, without fear. Having completely passed beyond error, they reach the end point of nirvana. All the Buddhas who dwell in the three times also manifestly completely awaken to unsurpassable, perfect, complete enlightenment in reliance on the perfection of wisdom. Therefore, the mantra of the perfection of wisdom, the mantra of great knowledge, the unsurpassed mantra, the mantra equal to the unequaled, the mantra that thoroughly pacifies all suffering should be known as the truth, since it is not false. The mantra of the perfection of wisdom is declared Tayata Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhisoha. Shariputra, the Bodhisattva, Mahasattva, should train in the profound perfection of wisdom like that. Then the Bhagavan arose from that concentration and commended the Bodhisattva Arya Avalokiteshvara, saying, well said, son of the lineage, it is like that, it is like that. One should practice a profound perfection of wisdom, just as you have indicated. Even the Tathagatas rejoiced. The Bhagavan having thus spoken, the Venerable Sharadaviputra, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Arya Avalokiteshvara, those surrounding in her entirety along with the world of gods, humans, asuras, and gandharvas, were overjoyed and highly praised that spoken by the Bhagavan. To page 25 for the short mandala. Sashi Bhave Chukchi Metotram Rirabi Jini De Genpati Sangye Shindu Nite Uwadi Turkunanda Shima Jopasho Jetsa Lama Dampa Yenamji Chugaka Jinze Dinde Ne Jeda Zambe Duje Zemala Saje Juji Java Adu So Urane Mendela Kaniya Dayami Sanje Judo Sashi Chanala Janjo Bada Dane Jatsuchi Nage Chujin Jive Sonamji Dola Benji Sanje Dubara Sanje Judo Sashi Chanala Janjo Bada Dane Jatsuchi Nage Chujin Jive Sonamji Dola Benji Sanje Dubara Sanje Jana Saje Jana Chanjo Bada Dani Jatsuchi Dage Jujin Jive Sonam Ola Benje Sanje Dobara Sho Konga da Zenye Zave Dawa Danje Bamani Nebeji Nenze Gudam de la Chazel Tonye Yenje Zonde Jobe La Jiji Zinde Kanje Dende Chana Bema Dende Jadola Zo de Zoshe de Rendosha Condensed LamRim Dage Jiro Bene Nijane Gode Jebe Gone Jidonde Gozondo Jimudo Zedo So Hai Danza Gulon Gomji Yabdro Gulon Shimben Gulon Yawo Jije Shos.
Assuming that motivation of the benefiting intention to the best we can.
다 가고금로.
No.
드린 LamRim. 아니 진인주당 투주청 삼주총한테 개발상부인 되어.
Rejoicing now that one has the opportunity to hear, reflect, and meditate on the LamRim. How fortunate that is.
다 이제 뒤치기. 이제 둔지 난가라야다. 안도 람 네 람 줄을 산제 고마토를 람 줄을 봐. 람 줄을 네 람게 칠랍 세아데 믹스에 더지 요르다.
Marilla.
제가 디인디니 둔지 난가라야네. 지 다자도 뭐 셔제도는 조르당 라마 정거 올라서 봐. 무슨 거지? 아마도 추지 개와스도 저하다 유dun이 난가라요. 제가 구성투 그래서 this 류라마 팀 류지 나자도 심지 동네도 파네 세송 대만주 지고만 임바다 점블링 지당게 강에 된데 여러 저에 파 다송 된 언데스 제제네 전시명은 네 책들이 마직 된시 왔어.
Again, visualizing in the space in front the fact that in order to awaken to the state of Buddhahood, one needs to generate a path in the mind, and commensurate with that are blessings. One needs to receive blessings in order to do that. In order to receive blessings, one visualizes in the space in front the merit field of Shakyamuni Buddha, the Lama Tsongkhapa, and sons, direct and lineage gurus related to you. And then coming from that field of merit that you've visualized in the space in front, from the three places of their holy body, speech, and mind come light rays which enter into your body, speech, and mind and purify your sicknesses of body, your mental discontent, so that that is all cleared away and purified. Not only that, not only your body and mind purified, but all of the sentient beings in the world and the ills therein are purified. So please, having visualized like that, let's recite together.
I bow my head to you,
The foremost of the Shakyas,
whose
whose body is formed by 10
10
living
perfections,
perfections,
whose
whose speech
fulfills
fulfills
the
the
hopes
hopes
of infinite transmigrated beings, whom I perceive all objects of knowledge. I prostrate to Manjushri Maitreya, whose emanations sport
in the world universes.
assuming the responsibility of all the conqueror's conduct. You
You
are
are
the
the
supreme
son
son,
of the fearless teacher.
I prostrate at the feet of Nagarjuna and the Sangha, ornaments of Jambadika, renowned for our who has commentaries in accordance with the intention on the mother of the conqueror so hard to fathom. I bow to Dipakara Atisha, holder of the treasury of instructions,
That gathers together
the
important
important
points completely and unmistakably.
of the paths of profound view and vast conduct. The excellent lineages descending from the two great charioteers. I prostrate respectfully at the spiritual teachers, eyes that see all the hidden scriptures, who with skillful means moved by compassion, clarify the supreme mystery way for the portion of sacramental liberation. The stages
And
of
the
the path
path
to
to
enlightenment
enlightenment
are these
leads
two
to
leaves handed down from
Jina
Nagarjuna,
and the Sangha,
crown
and
ornaments of the wise
of
family,
and
and
banners
as a
of
fame
flame
resplendent
resplendent
among
among
transmigratory
transmigratory
beings.
beings.
This instruction, the king of powerful jewels, fulfills all the desired aims of the 9 types of beings. It is an ocean of glorious and excellent explanations, gathering the rivers of 1,000 fine scriptures.
Through it you can realize
that
that all the teachings are without contradiction,
understanding all the scriptures as an instruction,
easily find the intention of the conqueror, and be protected from the
temptations
effects of their faulty conduct.
Therefore,
Therefore,
the
the
supreme instruction is relied upon the fortunate ones, the wise beings of India and Tibet. What noble person would not be captivated by the stages of the path of the 3 types of beings? Contemplate the meaning of this method that gathers the essence of all the scriptures. Even teaching or hearing in a single session definitely gathers great waves of the simple benefits of explaining or listening to an holy Dharma. Rely correctly and with effort in thought and action on the holy spiritual friend, the teacher of the path, and the foundation perfectly bringing auspiciousness for all the excellent collections of this and future lives. Having seen this, do not give him up even at the cost of your life, and please them by offering and practicing just as they instruct. You, the perfect Guru, practiced in this way. I, who am seeking liberation, will also practice in this way. This body of leisure, more precious than a wish-fulfilling jewel, is found but once, though difficult to obtain again. It finishes quickly as lightning in the sky. Having reflected in this way, realizing that all worldly activities are like winnowed chaff, you must take its essence day and night. You, the perfect Guru, practiced in this way. I, who am seeking liberation, will also practice in this way. Although there is no certainty that after death you will not be reborn in the bad migrations, the 3 rare sublime ones will definitely protect you from this fear. Therefore, steadfastly take refuge in them, and never degenerate their precepts. In addition, think well about the results of black and white actions, and depend on the correct practice of what to be adopted and what to be rejected. You, the perfect Guru, practiced in this way. I, who am seeking liberation, will also practice in this way. Until you attain a body with pure characteristics, you will not make progress in your practice of the supreme path. Train the causes for becoming free of those impurities. Since your 3 doors are defiled by negative actions, downfalls, and stains, it is particularly important to purify karmic obscurations. Therefore, continuously cherish reliance on purification of the 4 forces. You, the perfect Guru, practiced in this way. I, who am seeking liberation, will also practice in this way.
네, 공정.
야, 당저 기부총을 남 줍사를 봐. 기부총을 남 줍어치다. 다 기부 딩다 투모에 남 지름 벌로 정하스. 다 기부 딩스나 다 람냠네 지네 빼나가서 남바산제에 최 냠네 신이 간산데 대전 숨나라 뒤로요. 그래서
Yes.
대전 당고디에 기부총을 대전요 기부 딩 대전 숨바 기부 첨보시. 니 기부 총무사데 아니 녀선 동네에 직내 아니 저치마 뭔들 하면 고마터베시데 잠도치야다니 직진바다에 수준소야 나서거다 그래서 이 개와치니게 네 간사 디젠델라 요 충무스라고 여레스타 딜람냠nel라 아니 직 텐조된지 치와메다와 년도 동네 삼바 니 잠도레 준데 냠부도시 고네 디고샤과스타 람림 딩시자제나 어다 디제디도 스투심브레스로
We are looking at the middle capacity practitioner. We've come to that stage of the LamRim. What is in common with that? Well, all of the 3 scopes of initial capacity, medium capacity, and vast capacity, all the practices within Buddha Dharma can be condensed into that. So, initial capacity, medium capacity, vast capacity. What is the practice of initial scope that would be with a kind of a trepidation, if you will, or fear of the lower realm, looking to again secure a perfect human rebirth by understanding its impermanence and so forth, rarity, and then the necessity of death and impermanence, and then over and above that, contemplating once more what occurs after death, the potential difficult rebirth. Affording protection from that are the three jewels, so the refuge and the advice of the behavioral cause and effect therein, and then finally to purify misdeeds for opponent powers. So this is the purpose of the initial scope.
다 되네 네 다 밀라 겨울에 뭐이나요 삼노당인데 다 밀라야 돼다 강에 미 잠블링 미네가 브로실게 왜이네 동해 전자를 샤스로 알아서 잠블링 다 하고다 밀라 강에 가져이메 다데다 뉴스 게임도 다 코벤데 가만이 데 코바스고로 남바로 와딜이야 코르게 코 tinde게 미겨월랜데 요들래야 지강에 저가나지 동에다 도망고지 레샤다 인자 딜레 타바시고도 이 제연도네 데 미다 된로 미 내가 레 타르바시 상노상도 딜라 다 코바지네 타고 와도 코바세야 돼 딜레네 코발레 타르베 타바 텐도 니니지 한산딜라 아니 기우딩스 시고레스타
So in that light, the middle capacity practitioner, although again, wanting to attain to that state of being human, although one might have that basis of a human support, the suffering has only been stopped in a temporal sense, because we can see even within the human constraint in this world how much suffering humans go through. And that being the case, that there is indeed no essence to the cycle of existence that one would still be in. For example, humans go through birth, aging, sickness, and death. And with that in mind, the thought to be liberated from that process. So here, with the notion of being human, the thought of going on from the cycle of existence, seeing that it has no essence, and the person that's striving for that liberation from cyclic existence.
제가 다 단단한서 갑디 람림 기 니마 sabjeleendu dinshigi nyamlen ikone ne kowa dogwe lamjirimba ne juting lamjirimba so shigioreswa.
So then, if we look at that notion of liberation in terms of the middle scope, it is set forth in terms of the Four Noble Truths.
다 제 책디 생리로 시작이나 이래도 세상 독된 님이 상나 만배나 손도 타와 되는지시 매지신스가 당도 덴바시나게 니 동에 덴바셔야 돼. 동에 덴바스는 알아서 천시디 사제 여월은 몇 풍부들이로 네기 님이 소래. 네기 견 라상로 마담이나 이미라디 견이 견 차들 상로 마담이나 아니 견 차들 타르베 타와 되니게 로디
Right then, so understanding that middle capacity in the context of the Four Noble Truths, the first of which is true sufferings, and we read on the first line of the second verse on page 6, if you do not put effort into contemplating true sufferings, the faults of samsara, you will not develop the wish for liberation. Here we are looking at the 5 contaminated aggregates subject to clinging as an illustration of samsara. And the sufferings, the true sufferings, is just that. Here the main thing is faults. If you do not recognize that that embodiment is faulty, you will not strive for liberation. No.
동보들라니 덴바시는 동해시바차 군주방화차 고바 문데체 람공바차 서시다 어디다 내송고요라.
That is why, in terms of the first turning, the Four Noble Truths turning, Lord Buddha said, know suffering, abandon the origin of suffering, actualize cessation by cultivating a path.
제가 먼저 루덴데 독인 독된스 다디 된 동에 중세 고로지 임바 마신 바체로 아니 딜라야지 대화로지 차 대화로지 진 아니 딜라 이제로지 제제다 단단 안한서 겐로지 마테나 다 딩데요 텐제 도스 대고요 봐서라 대이나 그 겐지 태워다가 람산 동에 제용도 겐 담면다래 겐 다수수지 가면 빈자로지 나샤서로 강에 도세로 대연도 와 딩산 점물린 산주 담면데 지내주 담면데 다가라라 툭제 용거다 아니 제 중에 거자로시는 아주 르르나들레도 칼라사단지 투베이나 르르나거도라 칼라사단 시티스 투베이네 딩산 닝가 자고도 칼라 제조 망고 제되네 칼라사단 테스만디베이네 아니 니마지 신다바시네 추동야 제베이나야 고나거도 추동야 템바 제스나나 야 고나거도 제자고 겐지 툭스직 람사 아니 겐다 체보다 람산 동이 제면서 독된세디 거든 어딜랭고와 디신고 요레스오다 디네단 디시고 요레스오라.
In that context, then, to know this first, to recognize true sufferings, that is the nature of one's body. The nature of one's body is in that dissatisfactory state. But not recognizing that and clinging to the body as a receptacle of bliss or pleasure is all very well when things are going well. But you meet with a slight negative condition, such as the relatives get sick, or in these days, the conditions of these diseases, COVID and so forth. Just a slight external condition meets with your bodily compound, and then there's upset. We know that that upset can come from elements to make the body unwell. Food can be a condition upon which we are unwell. There's a danger there. We know that if we go without water for a certain period, we get a headache. So it doesn't take much to meet with conditions so that we suffer. We should recognize this as true suffering.
세상다 디 디중은 디세잡도 니 수분 루덴 수분으로 제냥 거고요. 이래 나요레스 나 풍부가
Yeah.
독된들 풍부가요. 류이 속 풍부디 간저 류라고 하더래. 아니 초회 풍부 초디도냐니. 다 남시지 풍부 세야더래. 남시지 풍부디 뒤에 동에 된 바래. 단단한 주지 남시 풍부디 독된래.
라릴라.
세상 남시지 풍부디 니 삼로 다딜라 치견시라 태고면도 와 삼로 당야니 지금 투로더라.
Right.
남시 풍부래 치견 태고면도 삼로 당야니 지라 투로더 람사 동에서 용거더라.
Now, we mentioned the illustration of true sufferings are one's five aggregates. One's very body, we talk about that first form aggregate as being that. Then there are feelings, that aggregate that we experience, pleasure or pain. Then there's a consciousness aggregate. This also is in the nature of suffering because the mind can be ill at ease without meeting external conditions. Often we don't recognize that.
다 심그 동에디 심랑게 쉬우지 소고요래와 지진제 매우체네 강보동바지는 수수미 좀지되나 수수 상로당연히 지기 투되기였다.
Illustrated by the fact that problems in the mind are sourced in the mind. Closing one's eyes in an empty house, just watch. Mental upset is there.
어디를 재산당 안한테 된대게 네 풍부디 가를 때는 중얼에 해서 대상당으로 하다.
Now the question is, what's the origin of these aggregates? Think on that.
재산 다드네 야야야야도 삼로당 삼로 곰 잡라나 도저 곰 잡에도 와봐. 기생에서 선임을 셰임바 간서 산살랑 간저 되네 수수 파마 바와다 아마 상당한테네 grandparents chik samdan dine great je samdan yo mara dine ya great chik doshana ani de ya chik the je sim doshana ani chenza do ade sim de do sto yende ani uzo mi changwa chik do ye de bra shiro ora ani chik de chik hago da ni de gara hago lana ani onzo de Jawaji lengu yawajirwa, jawaji lengu yawaji. Di kongla jujenji la dine jawa lengu yawaji. Ta tanda di God server lamna tasho tsara ta, jujen samdanji yomara. Ta di ngoyi nezu dan ma tungu yomara ta. God servers la de yina, mongde rangarwa ta di, yamishi jumzen shesa keme dokula. Wanzu jumzen ngoyi nezu dan tumene dogo. Jomden de tsenrikwa, jomden de tsenrikwa ngone ta. Jumzendan denba, rigbadan denba inami shuji kelen chega. Ngoyo nezuda tumba, rigbadan denba ji inami shuji kelen chega meweza. Ngona tsenrigwa chadeyo, tsenrigwa. Zambulinga da, tsenrigwa tangbodo zu inlamna digro da. Tingsa, zambulinga la tangbo inzana, famous chayro da. Jumde famous da, chaje lo tongda ni laksa famous tando, famous chadu da ra. Cheza.
Reflecting back then, the query, what is the source of the aggregates? So on Sunday, we looked at that. We looked at the parents and them having a source of their parents, great-grandparents, going back to so many generations of parents. But then you almost lose that tracing back. We don't often do that, isn't it? Strange. But if you were to go back like that, one would start to see, I guess on the one hand, we're all connected. On the second hand, in the future, we must again appropriate a body. We must take a birth. So therefore, that is going to come about due to causes and conditions. If you believe in God, that is not the case, but that would not seem to meet with reality. Because if we look at the teachings of Buddha Shakyamuni, what he did was examine the nature of things with a valid cognition, a thing that is based on validity, on the way things are, on the way, on how phenomena actually are. So therefore, we talk about scientists being the first, or everyone wants to be a famous scientist that kind of cracks reality. But if we really think about it, 2,500 years ago, Buddha was that. It's kind of funny reflection, no?
세상도 상당히 먼저 다들 레라딘 총레세디 계절리고라 배나 도 상당한 데로 먼저 세대기 밤에 구다다 먼저 이 기남시시도와 어디 대화 컨데 차레스 어디 대화 선인데다 레라미시지 레 액션 소로 레그 누바 드레미시지 딜레 대화 자토에 요마 딜레 하고 대화지 요마다 딜레 하고 대화지 요나 방도 고고요다 봐 딜레 하고에다 밤에 류당 먼저 심바를 대화 선인데 수레 봐 어디 낭베게 레레라고 요레스 봐 남시디 신동갈 마지베 지징에 아메쿠다나 아메쿠바나나 계고데 카렐라디 디 레그도 팡거래 저와이네 봐 지지 레레 스타 남바산지베 레스니디 저와소니드레다 말아서 따야디 레스디 독삼다나 저와 가망가마다디 삼다시라면도 단다랑 언제 삼다당기 레스고 요르셈 와 마디 직종이잖아 이게 직 중로체나 미디 야고면도 삼상 미 야고도 삼상 마딘데 직 중로체나 삼상 와 미르덴질라나다 야고도 삼상라지 다 미르덴레다 베대와진 그 신감로질레 겐다 야서레 삼상 근데 삼는다나레 다 직 근데 되자시나 콘동아제 말이보다는 삼단데나 아니 셈디 베다 뉴몽 파자전자 샤지제 셈데 투루고 요래 당저 콘도 뉴어 두자 뉴어 시단 뉴어 차도 뉴어시나 셈데 개어만시나 셈데 시오망요 레레사데 오다 다가라는 요 단다라는 요 한도 삼탕 등길래 요 레스로
So that source then the question comes, what is really the source of us coming to be in kind of a deeper sense? If we just trace the physical source back to the sperm and ovum of the parents, how is there a connection then with the mental continuum to that form attribute? How does it come about? From the perspective of Buddha Dharma, that would have to be action. There has to be some kind of karmic action. Okay, well, of course, the physical attributes come or sourced in the parents. But who connects the mind, the consciousness, to those physical attributes? How does that connection made? From the perspective of Buddha Dharma, this is volition in action or karma. It is the condition. And it is something we can reflect on, that connection, not to go back particularly a long way or many lives, but just to think on it day by day, in the sense that the mind is creating those karmic or mental volitions every moment, thinking one should do this, one should not do this. To get a perfect human rebirth would be good. To go to, to think like to go to a pure land would be good. To follow the non-virtuous minds of desirous attachment, aversion, jealousy would make negative actions and imprints. And in dependence on that, one would upset one's mind and hallucinate. That would not be good. Karma. But conversely, to lessen those disturbing emotions and create good karmas, virtue. So one can think on karma in that regard.
단대 주제디 닝멍아데베 주제로와 닝멍 셈지닝마 따와닝마 주제닝마 체닝마 저와 닝마 로와 튜닝마와 제가 다 녀모닝마 체닝마 셈지닝마 따와닝마 닝멍아게 튜인다 레 겨와사나 데부 제네니 통준용 주스 세다가나는 미야 레미가 버사베나 세다가나는 미야 용거 가서나 싫어하다
톡보. 죽지마.
지다 상말로 유진 상말 숙천부 쉬고 차대게 요랬어.
라서.
레드와다. 뭐마게. 알아서 진주간라 이모션 계제 과야며. 다 인생 상말에 이모션 전야래도 하다. 다 이모션 계제 장시에 것도 하다 인사로. 뭐마 이모션 시다셔 미상을 릴렉스 요러다. 근데 대신에 지조래 지조 고유래 됐으면 좋아도 니네다 지조 거랑 그래다 정말로베 디 제가 레스니디 데부 세딜레 산조 데부 세딜레 미트고였다 니지미지 겨와치면 고고 말했다
We are in the time of the 5 degenerations, the exploding poisons. Time, sentient beings, affliction of view, time, sentient beings, view, afflictions, and span. So, how does karma relate to that? It means that the actions made of virtues can ripen in that very life, such is the nature of this time. Conversely, non-virtues can ripen in this very life as well. Now, that is because the causes and conditions in this age are extremely strong. When we were young, we were quite relaxed. We never really heard of saying, emotions all the time, feelings. But now it seems to be a prevalent thing. Okay, so one factor around that could be that the environment is like that. But also it is that this very time, one doesn't have to wait for karma to ripen in future lives. it can ripen this strong.
Chazan de da le la de ne chong res le. De la kunjung den ba so le ju kunjung den ba. Ne le de ya kunne long ji gi nyomo. Ane tanda kunlong dan le baru la ngzo. Ta tanda ngzo kan le khorang tanda sim na ngwe sung du men do. Kharasena. Ngzo sim sa de ngwe sung du yo mare. Sim ngwe sung ma do na le ngwe sung du mare. Le ngwe sung ma do na na ane de kunlong ge sa de sa ngwe sung du mare. Ta ke je de wa ta nge bala bala la gu yo ro. Ni su sim na ne 아직 삼는 코리아디 용도고 말해. 다 셈디 ngö송 용도 아니 레 ngö송도 요. 레 ngö송도 레고 꾸노 무슨 레단 꾸노니 바로라. 아니 주주디스 요데 하고도 요래. 제가 꾸노시야디 마릭바레 제데 뇨모레데. 제가 뇨모다 레니를 떼네 아니 먼저 류딘 총어레스타. 계제디 시기요. 다데 수수 곰 잡제 수수 내제 선로 야불레나. 수수수수 냠냠 수수 뇨아 수수 냠냠 하고 그래 데로 수수 셈데 수수 데르바 가서 꽃규요 말아 원디규데요 인자 뇨에 덮기 시도고 여래 저도 레드 수수규로 여외 인자 수수 냠냠한테 시도고 여래 레 굴론데 시도고 여래 다 레디 데우 가도 미그레서 다디 시도 말 레하요 말 레시야라 삼로다니지나 곰로 잡제 칼라칸잠지 셈모로 트되는데이나 니 레옹고 뭐 손도래로 대단히 레 굴론데 여치 투베 로여래 이나가서 단다 그냥 알아와 있는 아주 시작하고라다 이제 냠용게요 말와니 시작하고 이나 시에다 블라블라 구도 단다
Karma then is what we are recognizing as the second truth of true origins. It is afflicted states of mind, or in a motivational sense, karma's mental volitions we create. So the point is, we can't even recognize the karma we're creating because we don't even know mind. So we can't know karma if you don't know motivations and the demarcation between the motives and the karma. We can talk what we like about it, but to be honest, we don't know these things because we don't know the nature of our minds. Therefore, we don't know the karmic volitions and the intentions. Well, coming back to this state of unknowing, it is ignorance and karma that cause us to be embodied beings. But to go into that unknowing or ignorance and karma that causes us to be embodied beings, we need to meditate. You need to meditate and get to know it through your experience. Because at the current juncture, these subtle things in your mind, such as karmas, are hidden. They are not manifest. So one can, to an extent, start to access karmas on that motivational level. But what is very difficult to know is when the karmas will ripen. That's not easy. Of course, what we can do is recognize when the mind is getting upset, isn't it? When the ripening is happening. But in terms of the volitional karmas, we can't see that. We can just talk, blah, 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 blah. Unless you experience. No.
어디다 군중 코웨 중리 마삼나스 코웨 자와 취지 미시베스 딜다 군중 코웨 중림 딜다 단다 중림 딜라 삼는 마다나나 코웨 자와 취지 싱이 말해서 지당 먼저 단대디 규 자와도 가르스나 당기 군롱들이 말이 거들이 티마시나 아니 디 쩌단디 싱이 말해 티마시나나 아니 딜레타베 타와디 무슨도 말 마셔다
We come to the third and fourth lines. If you do not contemplate true origins, the steps for entering samsara, you will not understand how to cut the roots of samsara. So understanding that the root of our suffering situation is our motivations, our mental volitions that are ignorant, because we don't know that, we're unaware of it, we can't recognize liberations.
어다 저 람린 딩게 다 subject 규정다 투명 남기는 바장을 시사야 되는 만 도시나라 그래서 subject이 다 시나야고요.
So now coming to the practitioner of middling capacity, understanding that there are 4 kind of divisions to that.
규정다 투모에름 림바시에도 투모세야 땅에 기생하마 되어시 게임바 규충오다 투모 규 첨보다 투모 자단이 열디 답에나 투모세야디 투모세야디 님도 계시고라 제가 아니 다 단다 딘실람 님벌 림부치다도서 배나 코발레 타워체발라 아니 코발레 타워체발라 주나체들 코발레 타나다 디그로하다 한체들 코마다 난다 겨워시만 코바 타워시 코바 타워치니기 류딘 약슈데 가레 밀류데로 밀류덴딜라 코발레 타베 타와토베 그 촉도 교와레 도리도고 나네 밀류덴디 촉도 교와레 제가 강에 겨워딜라 타와마는 겨워시만 타와토고도 뒤에지도 밀류덴딜라 아니 타와토고도 제가 겨워시만 밀류덴지 겨울래야 치도 타와토베시도 밀류된 도와제 뒤에지도 겨워시긴 인사되다 교 충무단 교딩 투모와 차송라 투모와 이래.
Okay, these divisions of the various scopes, looking at in stages that which is in common with, initial scope, medium scope, vast scope. What is in common with medium scope and initial scope? Well, one wants to have a notion of, as we mentioned, the purpose of middle scope, to be liberated beyond cyclic existence. The best basis upon which, or best support upon which you can be liberated from within the 6 realms of beings is the human support. So then your motivation in this life is again to be in future life human, to be able to be liberated. So therefore you see there's a common ground between initial scope and middle scope.
다나 밀류된라 아니 타워타야게 된 촉교인베 준생 카레 라위나로와
Yep.
되지 시나야 고요래 아니 가르스나 밀류된데라 먼저 야쇼질라 동해만 오시도와 동해 여인상 아니 동해들 텐도에게 타와드니로 지고 니중지도 거래 제가 동해면은 니중메스 예장가 기생어만에 라이망서 다신게 도와줘서 미겨울이야를 면함제고요. 그래서는 니중제제 타워텀네 다 다주메 공부도 산제 공부 저부터 우어라. 하과디 산제지 공부 더베야디 류덴디 약슈레. 하과다야 나단 되어잖아. 아니 류덴디 다 속티기워래. 제단디 내 인상 당 하나는절라 야구 쉬우지 가르는 단단 빼다 진네. 다신게 도와드제 아니 나라 리딘 토로치는 세드 간절로 톱데다. 봐. 다 간대야고도로 니 가오 공부다다. 다 가오 공부래라. 가오때 데스 공부다. 심지어 가되이나 배 동해 전향 상단은 가시 다 동해 전향 동해 갈라 동해 장샤는 여든 가시 배로라 동해 전 세상 거기서 가시라고다. 가래 배vel라면 동해 전향시 약사도 제 시험은 동해 전향시 말라 딘델라니 가시 정라. 뒤쳐문에도 시고래래라. 청문회도 시고. 동의들한테는 좀 되는데 동의 쉬워져서도 청문회도 시고. 그걸로 다자고 인교 내가 선바지고 그랬어요. 팀문에서는 뒤져 졸라다니는 것도 알아. 망고지에 들러 가오지기도. 뒤져 졸라다니 소리 듣는 것도 알아. 진짜. 먼저 류덴데 톱되고 배워거든.
So then understanding that why is the human support the best basis upon which one can use? Because the basis is the best because even those in the Pure Lands, they pray, may they be human. Because as it is said, in the human realm, there's lots of suffering, right? We need that. The suffering leads to renunciation. No suffering, no renunciation, as was stated. So even the beings in the Pure Lands pray to be where we are. In that sense, independence on being human, renunciation can be generated. The state of arhats and bodhisattvas can be generated. Okay, so and then also dependence on the human support. The goal of Buddhahood is within reach. And of course, Tantra, to practice Tantra, one needs a human support. So in that sense, we've got something to rejoice about, thinking now we've got it. So it's good if we rejoice a little. There are some people who say, oh, the Tibetan Lamas, all they ever talk about is suffering. So then there's a danger people will escape from the teaching. But that's not really the case. Buddha first said no suffering. And recognizing that. So those people that are saying, oh, well, all the lamas talk about the suffering, what's happening there is they are clinging to this temporal bliss and thinking that that is happiness. So that's like objective compassion. And we would say time wasting.
간소 new age sort of like 가오시고 내가 나와 기울여 주세요는 개물어질라 나와 기울여 주세요. 근데 대야고도 사실도 오늘은 뒤져 출라로 그래도 상야고 단으로.
Yeah, there are practices within New Age that just talk about being happy and laughing and things like that, but they might not have the result.
다저 부다 워치니나 오늘 당고도 당저 알아서 항상 냠내 치고데 최야고 연구면도 많이 되는데 동네 자와데 야고 신야 말다.
Oh yeah, so then and then looking at that quality even within Buddhism, not getting the results we're seeking because we haven't recognized the source of suffering that we are in.
단다디 칙디 야고도 가라 곰중이 칙디. 단대 동에 참여 장스. 단대 동에 참여 장스. 하고 그래서 단대 동에 참여 장. ngame lenge sejune sirba. 단대 동에 참여디 경험에 lenge 마사지 요 데우디 세로 요레스. 로 단대 동에디 규직이 되고 와.
Yeah.
요 가리 되버스나 경험하면서 lenge 마사지 요 데우디로 와. 다 lenge 베 데우디 세스나는 아니 가려운 거래. 항저다 냐마사지 기베렉 데우디 미인 거로. 지산 치마 아니 대화 규규베스. 둘라 가와 고미시안스 제가. 다 단다 동행녀야 돼 가와 고미스다. 가르스나 겨왕하면 랭이베 데우세로 고스기라. 다 겨왕하면 랭이베 데우디 세스는 다 레게베 데우디 미인 거래. 그레베 데우디 가르스나 다 대화르스다. 대화 용거스. 대화 교보 용거스다. 가라 고미지 칙디 녀보체. 상상랑으로 메제나랑 강의로 담는다. 단데 내단으로 다 베나단다 점블링 내주다 슬림빌링 담어토는데 다들 수수 선조로 말아서 내단 직과에 있는 미카실 동에 쇼여로 수수 선조 수수 레그 데브 선조로 대치 미신다지 치료지 다 단다 배치지 내주 상마 찍어 서열이 소년 상마 수수 셈 축도 셈보다는 축스나는 상마 축도 왔다 셈데 마투나나 타바 다가라나 요래 셈데 축스나나 코알레사다 잡단 뒤로 차대다 오늘에는 셈 마투고 셈 시와들라 타르와서 오라 제 타르방군에 데려와다 간다 그래서 셈 수수심이 순결을 와다 그래서는 수수심이 수수 경험을 레그 미인 거로 내단 강바 찍잖아 데데이나 미카시 마지와 쉬스터 미카시 셈바지고 집타지 되거다 가진 그 레미다 요라네 어디다 디자인데 디 책디하고 쇼다 상상처럼 디 컨텐츠 때 jordan 하고 책도 들어 나때 사이딩 버버 상담
kisla karab komchuk be
가라 곰중
kadam be
가라 곰중 사이디 까담바 말에 가라 곰중
the words of the practitioner Karab Gomchung. This life suffering ripens, and it is good to exhaust the non-virtue of past life, and the future result is bliss. So to suffer is good because then bliss will quickly be actualized. Yeah, so what's really being said is to rejoice that this suffering situation. This suffering situation has arisen. There's a danger that if you just think, oh, I'll meditate on suffering, you could think it's New Age. That suffering is good. But really, the problems in this world, in this life, that we point externally towards and say, oh, you know, it is externally sourced that one is going through problems. It is not oneself, it is others. 1, 2, 3. Well, it's not like that. It is the fact that your mind is hallucinating the reality. No hallucination, liberation. Hallucination, cyclic existence. It's as easy in that as that, front and back. There's only 2 sides. So therefore, and that is your mind. 2 people in the same room. One experiences that being in that house as happy. For the other person in that house, it's a state of misery. That is the karmic connect there. The fact is, the mind cannot access immediate peace. It's right there. Once you access it, that is liberation. We're always thinking the state of liberation, nirvana, so far away. Oh, really? Might not be that far. Might be close at hand. Really close. Yes. So have a look. Have a look for you. Let's go searching. So what one is doing in the purpose of middle scope is firstly recognizing the state of liberation, then generating a mind that goes for it. Wow. So that twofold process of thinking and training, first the recognition of it. What is that liberated state? It's close at hand. How clearly did Lama Tsongkhapa set it down for us? And then after that, how to achieve. Yep. Liberation then identified as the state of being freed. State of being free. Free of what? Free of clinging. So it is this lack of clinging. As the adept Tilopa said to Naropa, let things appear in mind, Naropa, but do not cling. It is this bond. What is the state of bondage that obscures liberation? It is clinging. The afflicted states.
Sorry, could you please the four divisions? Could you just please give the 4 points?
Kisla chikni sumshi. Tangbo tapa samlawa.
Samba jangwa ngwa.
Okay, the first one is how to think,
Samba jangwa ngwa.
how to reflect on and train in it.
Tawa tenyi lo sora jiwu dingi samba jangwa ngwa sora.
Yeah.
Hadi ne di jiwe tse si di jiwu dingi samba di jiwe tse sora.
The first one is the recognizing that one is going for liberation. The second one is the sign that it's generated. Yep.
Ta di la lokdo se juyo si, ta di jiwa jine de yang tawa yinba da ma yinga lokdo se juyo si sumba dire.
And then the third one is, the signs of having generated it, or the signs to be aware of that are the adverse of that.
Ta shiwa di tawa tuwe lamjirang shi dina pawa sabje shi dire.
And the fourth one is, what is the nature of that path that one is actualizing?
Di shi, ta dinda tangbo di la ni che rwa, tawa tunyi longwa songa di jiwe taps che.
The first one has two divisions. Firstly, you are recognizing what liberation is, and then you're going to strive for it. The method. Sorry, the first is the recognition. Sorry about that. The first is the recognition of liberation. And secondly, what is the method?
다 당보디 탈바시와디 징벌레 트와스 탈바스는 탈바스 징벌레 트와스 징벌레 트와레스.
So first we gave a definition, didn't we? That nirvana, that state of liberation, is a state that is free from clinging.
제가 말하는 징 배샤운데 타바지 수 담샤는 징버세고라.
Madhugesla.
타바는 트스나는 타벌 어디나 시시고.
Just like you are bound up by a rope, at which point if you release yourself from the state of being bound by the rope, just like that, liberated from that.
다 코와들라 징이술에 라윈데 티안 레다 뉴모기 코와라다 징마치 그래서다 타바니요랑 좀 레다 뉴모니 타바니 담데 타바지기 예너고 타바지기 예너고 안도 거래잡데 되더다.
Then the question is, to our analogy, what are the ropes that bind? What is it that binds us to samsara? Karma and disturbing emotions. One to the left and one to the right. Two ropes.
다 디니 요한게 에네 감숨 라코와 네디 감숨 дөөн 감숨이 감숨 코와치 그레스.
And what is the place where that plays out? The three realms: desire, form, formless realm. That is the abode.
다디 디젠도 디 체브라. 나는 뇌바세 디 뇌용알 차고 속타 디로 럭장알 차고 착심치 데디니 디젠들라 뇌바스 그래.
The desire realm, why is it labeled therein? Defined because we are clinging to, sights for the eyes, smells for the nose, taste, touch, tactiles, mental sensates, all of it.
제가 속함들라 티다 로니 요마레 티로니 요마레 농봉하고 유미도 티다 로 요마레 수건 제가 나다 내 남시 메시지 얼다 제가 티로 매베 인자 아니 시라게 칼라서 말하다 수건 칼라서 말해 칼라서 녀 도면은 수건 러시아니야 그래.
In the form realm, then, not having the sense faculties of taste and smell, because you don't taste, no need to cook food. If you don't like cooking food, go to that realm. The form.
나도 칼라디기 내가 쉬어서다 쇼핑 도구도 아니 쇼에 베르바서도 니고 란서도 데니 디나서도 디서산 두고도 아디 라베시고도 예자모데 데 로데게 칼레레도 로드메나 니 칼라사고마로.
What a lot of trouble. Having to make food, going to the shop, brekkie, lunch and dinner, then you get hungry, it all turns to rubbish, things start to rot, isn't it? Yeah, looking at it like that, the stomach creates a lot of work. Life can be a laughing matter. There are some who are slave to the stomach, eat, shop, that's it. And you would be doing that just for yourself with not a mind to help other, and you would just do nothing except eat and then die. Well, that wouldn't be a dharma. And going finer again to formless realm, which has no form, it is that. No sound, no gross body. Yeah. Well, an even more subtle mind, subtler than the dream mind, isn't it? Because in a dream you can have these smells and sensations of colors and so forth. But but the mind, the mental consciousness in the formless realm, is subtler again than that dream body mind. So those are the three realms, the abode where samsara takes place. Now those that migrate are 5 or 6 counted. Right, so then breaking the 6, if you're counting 6-fold, 3 upper, 3 lower. So those upper realms then, humans, demigods and gods. It is literally called dendro, a migration of happiness and well-being, because if you compare it to animals, the well-being is over and above. Then those lower realms, of course, the hungry ghosts and hells we do not see. Animals we can, dogs, cats, insects, and so forth. Oh, this mental continuum has attributed such bodies. If you saw, apart from not seeing, you would be amazed. Yeah. So that's how we could count the realms 6. The 5-fold division is when you just have, in terms of the upper realms, humans and gods. So there's no division of gods and demigods. The demigod division came in fact because they did not adhere to the laws of the gods and were kind of, well, on the periphery.
다들 걔네 주고는 첸드니 녜지 공지 주지 추지 시지 로 걔네 겨울한단 저로 걔네 신인 잠자 겨울랭기 요레스로
The way the migration takes place is fourfold: through womb, egg, miraculous, or heat.
다 공지 사대 차대 도서라도 녜지 시는 그런서 미트 추지 시지 추를 되네지 추를 와다 먼저 야가 부망부 제용도 추지를 돼서 공가 분용도 와 세부도 와대 아니 주지 사대 수부증네 직 주니 제도야 돼 세고라 주지 단단다 당신도 주지 매도 배면 나는 주니 제용으로 당신다 발도 주지 발도 주지
Egg birth we can see. We humans are born from wombs. Heat birth takes place in the warmer climates, less insect birth in winter. The miraculous birth, to give an example, would be to be born from a lotus in the Pure Land, or to be born in the Bardo. Yeah.
I thought that it's only said that the heat and moisture birth was not so valid, because even though, like previously it might have looked like things
Right.
hot, moist.
We're probably talking Abhidharma, yeah.
But they didn't, now they know now the little bugs that live in there, little organisms that come. It doesn't actually arise from the heat and moisture.
Yeah, I do see. Gisela, so this is for the online, in case you didn't hear. The question was, His Holiness commented that perhaps that division of born by heat was not so valid, because in fact there were little bugs in there, a priori, right, that were born not just from heat, but from being little bugs. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, so heat and moisture is just a condition.
Yeah, Gisela, Turkese di gyudan kienre matoko, bu kurang, simshin kurang, turni kigyo marwasa kundun.
그 년에 렌지 gel된 게로 나는 그 주인데다 남실만 용거로 알레르네 용거로 그 트레일러 떼네 게오라 제가 트레지스라로
Okay.
먼저 아메 코고라 떼네 게오 연상 먼저 녜지라로 메시 먼저 남시 게왕하면에 용지 도되게요라 아니 공원에 진이 공원에 떼네 게상 공지스라로 메시고 공원 거랑 밀기스고 말아봐대
It is said to be born from heat because heat is the condition. The primary cause, yes, is the consciousness from another. So, for example, with us, the primary cause of us coming to being is our mental continuum. The cooperative conditions are the mother and father, similarly with eggs and so forth. You wouldn't say the being's just born from egg. Heat is the condition, but it's called born from heat. Yeah, there are a lot of examples of. We can see in summer, in a body of water, the rapidity at which insects are born with the sound.
Insects
Oh, sorry, I got that wrong. Gisela? Put hair in the water and insects come from that?
Insects insects louder.
Bacteria.
Insects the
insects are from Gisela's talking about bacteria born from heat. Don't need eggs, but need heat as the condition. Beg your pardon. Okay, so in heat, putting some hair into water and bacteria coming as a result of that.
Did that modern sound is because genetic or SEU nala 당무당고 김생 가래.
Ah, okay.
다가라래. 정무마다는
That's why-
수부 bacteria is paging.
That's why modern scientists keep their cultures cold. Because if it gets hot,
SEU is freezing. Why they making freezing? Why?
Yeah,
What reason? They clearly see, you know. Those
are examples.
죄송하다. 나 먼저 배제도 좀 말해. Yeah, 배제도.
Yeah. We shall read the rest of the prayer and dedicate.
So we're on page 6, stanza 15, which is the second one from the top. Do not put effort
into contemplating true suffering, the faults of sin.
You will not develop the wish for liberation.
If you do not contemplate true suffering, and entering samsara, you will not understand how to cut the roots of samsara. Therefore, rely on the various from samsara and cherish
the knowledge of what finds
you, the perfect Guru, practiced in this way. I, who am seeking liberation,
will also practice in this way. The generation of the mind is a central place for the Mahi on the path. The basis of all the great ways of conduct. A philosopher's stone transforms all into directions. A treasure of merit virtue. Having understood this, the transformation of the conquest became deeply convergent on the questions of free mind. You, the perfect Guru, practiced in this way. I, who am seeking liberation, will also practice in this way. Generosity is the wish fulfilling to all satisfying hopes of transmigratory beings. The supreme weapon material of mindfulness. The activity of the children of the monks expresses courage without dismay, and the basis of being renowned in between directions. Having understood this, the wise rely on the excellent path of giving away their bodies, possessions, and virtue. You, the perfect Guru, practiced in this way. I, who am seeking liberation, will also practice in this way. Morality is warming the stains of faulty behavior. Moonlight dispelling the torment of splendors found wherever universe different types of beings. It gathers all transmigratory beings through the force. Having understood this, holy beings guide morality correctly taken as in their eyes. You, the perfect Guru, practiced in this way. I, who am seeking liberation, will also practice in this way. Patience is the finest ornament of the powerful. The supreme of all hardships counteracting the torment of the afflictions. A Garuda against the enemy. And thick armor against the weapons of harsh speech. Having understood this, cultivate the armor of supreme patience and grace.
You, the
You,
perfect Guru, practiced in this way. I, who am seeking liberation, will also practice in this way. When you don armor like steady and immovable, the qualities of scripture and realization will increase like a waxing moon. All your behavior becomes meaningful, and whatever actions are undertaken will be accomplished as desired. Having understood this, the conqueror's children put forth brilliant waves of effort dispelling all laziness. You, the perfect Guru, practiced in this way. I, who am seeking liberation, will also practice in this way. Concentration is a kingdom of the mind. When placed, it is as movable as Mount Meru. When set forth, it is all virtuous objects. It induces a greatness for the service of the body and mind. Having understood this, the laws of yogis rely continuously on the meditative stabilization that destroys the enemy distraction. You, the perfect Guru, practiced in this way. I, who am seeking liberation, will also practice in this way. The wisdom is an eye seeing profound vastness, and the path of eradicating the root of existence. A treasure of qualities praised in all the scriptures, and renowned as the supreme blanks dispelling the darkness of ignorance. Having understood this,
the wise who desire liberation generate the path with much effort. You, the perfect Guru, practiced in this way. I, who am seeking liberation, will also practice in this way. One-pointed concentration alone is not considered to be able to cut the roots of samsara. Wisdom separated from the path of karma abiding. will not avert the afflictions no matter how much you analyze. Having mounted the wisdom that reflects on the real mode of existence, upon the horse of steadfast calm abiding, with the sharp weapon of the logic of the middle way free of extremes, destroy all mental fabrications grasping at extremes. With the vast wisdom analyzing in this way, increase the wisdom that realizes thusness. You, the perfect Guru, practiced in this way. I, who am seeking liberation, will also practice in this way. The meditative stabilization achieved by one-pointed meditation is not enough. With the individual investigation of proper analysis, generate the meditative stabilization that abides firm and immovable on the mode of existence. Having seen this, understand how wonderful are those who endeavour to accomplish the union of calm abiding and special insight. You, the perfect Guru, practiced in this way. I, who am seeking liberation, will also practice in this way. In meditative equipoise, emptiness is like space. In post-meditation, emptiness is like an illusion. Through meditation on both method and wisdom are unified, whereby the perfect conduct of the conqueror's children is praised. Having realized this, the tradition of those of good fortune is not satisfied by either path alone. You, the perfect Guru, practiced in this way. I, who am seeking liberation, will also practice in this way. Having generated the common path necessary for the two supreme Mahayana paths, the causal and resultant, rely on the protector, a skillful master, and enter the great ocean of the classes of Tantra. Then, through reliance on complete and perfect instructions, make the attainment of your leisures and endowments meaningful. You, the perfect Guru, practiced in this way. I, who am seeking liberation, will also practice in this way. Due to the virtue from explaining in clear words the perfect complete path pleasing to the conquerors, so as to familiarize my mind with it, and to benefit others of good fortune, I made the prayer. May all transmigratory beings never be parted from the excellent pure path. You, the perfect Guru, practiced in this way. I, who am seeking liberation, will also practice in this way. To page 31 for the short mandala. Sashi Goji Joshi Meitatra Vira Ninji Yede Genpade Sangye Shindu Mite Rovaki Drupun Nanda Jima Japa Sho Jetsa Lama Kusera Deshi Naka Trime Choju Ge Pada Lo Sam Tempe Drome Sasungi Drome Munsa Tad Meju Shi Page 33, prayers of dedication. Due to the merit of these virtuous actions, may I freely attain the state of true Buddha, and lead all living beings without exception into that enlightened state. May the supreme jewel bodhicitta that has not arisen arise and grow, and may that which has arisen not diminish but increase more and more. Whatever slight positive potential I may have created, by paying homage, offering and acknowledging my faults, rejoicing and requesting that the Buddha's stay and teach, I now dedicate all this for full awakening. I dedicate all these roots of virtue with the dedication praised as the best, by the victorious one thus gone to the 3 times, so that I might perform the noble bodhisattva's deeds. May the king of Dharma Sankhapa's way of Dharma practice flourish. May the omens of obstacles be pacified, and all but conducive circumstances be complete. The wish granting, wish fulfilling jewel, source of every single benefit and happiness in this world, to the incomparably kind Tenzin Gyatso I beseech, may all your holy wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. Saviour of the snowland teachings and transmigratory beings, who makes extremely clear the path that is the unification of emptiness and compassion, to the lotus holder Tenzin Gyatso I beseech, may all your holy wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. You who uphold the subduous moral way, who serves the bountiful bearer of all, sustaining, preserving, and spreading Manjana's victorious doctrine, who masterfully accomplish magnificent prayers honouring the 3 jewels. Saviour of myself and others, your disciples, please live long. By relying on the true accumulations of myself and others in the 3 times, may the teachings of the conqueror Losong Trapka blaze for a long time.